You want clarity. You want me to?
I think we can finish.
Well, that's supposed to. So we're ready when you are. Okay. Welcome to the February 29th, 2024 meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Anton Melner, and I'm Vice Chair of the committee. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Jesus Perez and Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 7:36 p.m.
6:30.
6:36.
Haven't changed time yet.
Haven't changed time yet. Okay, as a reminder, New York State law requires.
Does that mean we can go home?
All I'm gonna say, it's a leap year, it's a leap day, so who knows? But
I gave him this leap day, leap hour.
exactly.
As a reminder, New York State law requires community board members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who attend virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there's time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. I need a volunteer for taking minutes tonight.
All right, somebody give me paper.
I understand that they can now be assigned. Minute takers can be assigned, they don't have to be volunteers.
Okay, thank you. We have a minute taker for tonight. We'll take attendance by roll call. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is quorum. Claire Brennan.
Present.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you. John Keller.
Present.
Anton Mullins. Susan Stein. Present. David Bowles.
Present.
Carol Miller. Not here. Sarah Whittington. 6 of 8 members present. We have
The agenda for tonight's meeting is distributed at the time by the board office and by the school board. If there is no objection, adopt the agenda. Agenda for adopting the agenda.
audio is not coming. Great.
Yeah, but I can't hear anything and
John, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, the audio, I can hear the Mr. McGrath, but I can't hear the rest of you folks. I think there's something problematic.
Okay. All right, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so it may just be we need to project, folks.
Okay. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes for the January 25th, 2024 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, please raise your hand. Okay. Seeing no objections, the minutes for the January 25th, 2024 meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. Okay. Okay, in order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person. If you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Okay, let's go to tonight's agenda. First on the agenda is a new application for on-premises license for Aramac Services Incorporating, doing business as not applicable at this point at 599 Lexington Avenue. Is there a representative from Aramac available?
Yes, sir. Good evening, members. My name is Mastin Sansom. I'm the attorney for the applicant. I'm joined here by Georgia Gordon, who is the general manager, excuse me, of the premises. Aramark Services Incorporated is seeking a catering license at 599 Lexington Avenue. This catering license is, by virtue of the license, would be the premises would be closed to the public, so not a public venue. There is no outside area. Also, it is located on the 15th floor of the building. And the hours of operation are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be a manager on site at all times. The indoor capacity is 99 persons. They do have a public assembly permit. It will not be rented out for private parties or anything like that, and promoters will not be used. So this is a very, limited type of operation. And again, it's a catering license.
All right. Just to clarify, will this be only for the tenants in the building, or will you rent the place out for business functions?
No, it's for the tenants in the building.
That's the reason I asked, is because your hours are 7 a.m. I presume you do breakfast for the tenants of the building.
And Georgia, I believe, is on.
Yes, hi. Good evening, everyone. Yes, so our client operates 2 floors in the building, the 14th and the 15th floor. The total employees that the client has is the 99. The catering license that we're looking is just for functions for the employees, if and when. There's no outside individuals invited. There's no renting of the space. It's just for the Evercore's employees when we do have an event to celebrate, achievements or anything of the sort. And yes, it's open from 7 a.m. We do have a manager on site at that time. And then we have services all the way up until 7 p.m. We have coverage because, for late night employees.
I presume when you have these employee events that alcoholic beverages may be served?
Yes, Yes, that is correct.
I don't have any questions. Any member of the committee have any questions or comments?
I don't see any hand.
Member of the public?
Motion of no objection.
Seconded.
So we go through the reso.
Let's get a resolution up.
We have a resolution of no objection for a new on premises license.
Would you mind making the text a little bigger
Sure.
or zooming in rather?
Use the slider in the lower right-hand corner. Might work.
Oh, yes, thank you. For a new on-premises license for Aramark Services, Inc., doing business as Aramark, I believe you put in your questionnaire. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Thank you. At 599 Lexington Avenue. Whereas Master and Sampson, and Georgia Gordon, applicant, Master and Sampson, attorney, and
Should we
Georgia.
put
Gordon.
14th and 15th floor just to specify that this is where the activity will be taking place?
Yes, you said the 14th and 15th floors of the building?
I believe, Georgia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's just the 15th floor?
Yes, we are only applying for a license for the 15th floor. There'll be no alcohol served on the 14th floor.
Thank you. Whereas Mass and Sampson, attorney, and Georgia Gordon, applicant, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on February 29th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a catering establishment that accommodates private events only, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. And as you said, whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week.
That's correct.
No, I'm so sorry. So we are Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're Monday through Friday, but the building is open. But our operations are only Monday through Friday.
Thank you, Georgia.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday.
And just to be clear, these events are only for your company. They're not for outside entities.
Absolutely not. It's just for the company, for the employees, and we do have a celebratory event.
So maybe instead of private events only, internal corporate events only,
Yes,
or internal company events.
Is everyone okay with internal corporate, company events? Susan? I don't believe we had any stipulations or public comment that you want to add. Whereas no members of the community had any comments, for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on February 29, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And then, of course, our last, be it further resolved, is just that if there are any misrepresentations, then we oppose the granting of the license.
So we take a roll call vote.
Yes, committee members, I'll call your name. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain for cause of not entitled. And again, this is a resolution of no objection for a new on-premises license for Aramark Services, Inc., doing business as Aramark at 599 Lexington Avenue, 15th floor. Claire Brennan.
In favor.
Thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Mulner,
In favor?
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor?
thank you. David Lowenstein,
In favor.
thank you. Gerald Jones is not here, and Sarah Whittington is not here. So with 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for cause not entitled, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, members. Thank you for your time and support.
And we won't need to see you for 4 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's leap year.
Oh,
Leap day,
that's
leap
right.
year.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. This is a confusing day for me, obviously. Anyway, next on our agenda, application and temporary retail permit on premises license for Sadhguru Incorporated, doing business as V-Rays at 213 East 45th Street. Do we have representative or representatives for that establishment?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I understand you were invited to the January 25th meeting, but weren't able to make it, and you
Yes,
had that fill
that's
out a
correct.
questionnaire.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we
And
postponed.
also, Mr. Sonny Solomon is here. He's the manager of the restaurant as well. I'm the attorney for that, filed the application.
Okay. All right, my question is, on both the Community Board 6 questionnaire
Mhm.
and the SLA application, it didn't indicate what type of license you were looking for.
That's interesting. It's a full liquor license.
All right. I think we'll put that on the record because it's not on the paperwork that was
Oh,
sent to us.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Other than that, your hours of operation are from noon to 2:45. They take a break. And you're operating 5 to 10 PM. Is this 7 days a week?
Yes, 7 days a week. That's correct.
What kind of restaurant is this going to be?
It's what they would consider a modern Indian cuisine restaurant. They have another one that's in a different location in Manhattan. I can find out that location for you, but it's kind of mimicking that one as well. Second. Let's see.
Do any members of the committee have any questions or comments about this applicant?
Don't see any hands.
And none from members of the public? Yes. Identify yourself, please.
Would you like to come up to it?
Hi, my name is Michael Cohen. I have a question. Has the restaurant ever had a liquor license before? Have they ever had a license of alcohol on premises before?
I'm sorry, I'm a little difficult with the question. I'm having trouble hearing. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Has the restaurant ever had a license to sell alcohol before?
Yes, this location was licensed prior, yes. And in fact, in the last 2 years, it's been licensed, and I can give you, if you want, I can give you the name of that license itself. Second. It was called Abu Yat, and it was under license number 1247775.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion of no objection?
Motion of no objection.
Second.
File part the resolution. Okay, so a resolution of no objection for a new on-premises license with a temporary permit for Sadhguru Inc., doing business as V-Rays at 213 East 45th Street. Whereas Kathleen Negri Stathopoulos, attorney, and Sonny Solomon, manager, appeared before the Business Affairs Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on February 29th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as I believe you said modern Indian restaurant?
That's correct, yes.
And whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 12 PM to 2:45 PM and 5 PM to 10 PM, 7 days a week, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Do we wish to include any stipulations for public comment? Or? No? Anyone? No.
No, of course.
Whereas, well, there's only a question, not a comment, so whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee meeting held on February 29th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 had no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And of course, our last, be further resolved clause, again, is just if there's any misrepresentation until we impose the license. So I'll now take a roll call. By roll call, when your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain for cause, or not entitled. Claire Brennan.
In favor.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
In favor.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mullner.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. David Lowenstein.
In favor.
Thank you. And Gerald Jones and Sarah Whittington are not with us. With 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for cause or not entitled, the motion passes.
Okay, well, thank you very much and good luck with your establishment.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Next on the agenda is new application, temporary retail permit on premises license for Ara Cafe Incorporated, doing business as Ara Cafe at 333 East 23rd Street. Do we have representatives of Ara Cafe available?
Yes, hi. My name is Mitchell Siegel. I'm the attorney representing Ara Cafe Inc. And I believe Gietto Nakaj is also on. He's the principal. Thank you so much for your time. As you stated, it's a cafe located at 333 East 23rd Street. There is one error on the application. It should be 30 seats indoors and 30 seats in the covered outdoor area, not 40, for a total of 60 seats. It's a tavern license. For a tavern, they have an extensive menu, which I can provide. We are looking for times from 7 a.m. because it's going to be, coffee in the morning and breakfast and that kind of stuff to 12 a.m. 7 days a week. No liquor until 10 a.m. The outdoor area is enclosed and that will not be open, obviously until the warmer months, and it will only be open from 1 to 10. And when I say open, there's just Velcro plastic windows that might be open. It's recorded music. Couple of private events, no sports bar, nothing along those lines. The applicant is extremely experienced and has licenses throughout the city and never a problem. The location is not within 500 feet of any other 3 or more locations. The applicant also has met with the residents above in the building, and they've approved him. And we're open for any questions that you may have.
Is this in the old 7-Eleven premises?
It's in the same building, but it's not the 7-Eleven premises. And I'm sorry, Gietto, are you
Yes.
on?
I'm on.
Okay, is that correct, what I said?
Yes, that's correct. 7-Eleven is, I believe, 3 stores down. Yes, wherever somebody has their, yeah, right there. Yeah.
Can we get the name of the person who just spoke
Yeah.
for the record and also?
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's the
Okay.
principal. His name is Gietto Nakaj, Gieto, last name Nicaj.
Okay, now you say you have both indoor and outdoor space, but on the CB6 questionnaire, there's a little tick box as to whether you are also applying for outdoor space. It was not checked.
We're
So-
not applying for outdoor space. If you look at that premises, we're just talking about the enclosed space, which is not really outdoors, to be honest with you, because it's enclosed. But no, we're not looking for any sidewalk cafe or any outdoor space.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure. So we're saying that space under the awning is not considered sidewalk space?
No.
No,
No, I can vouch for that because that's, I walk that a lot. I live in the area. And it's always been like that. It's not sidewalk space.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Just a clarification. Now, I don't have any further questions.
Seems like
Yeah,
Paige.
Paige has her hand
Oh,
raised.
I'm sorry, didn't see that. Paige, you have a question?
Yes, I do. No offense, but that is plastic that's being closed. That has happened in a couple of occasions. We've been told that is not sidewalk space, but it really is. Unless you have some kind of a resolution from the city that says that, because plastic does not constitute that it is an enclosed area. That was put up afterwards. I really would like to have that clarified because a lot of these places get grandfathered just because nobody pays attention to that. And I can think of 2 places that the same thing happened. So can
If
someone?
I thank you so much. If I could just say, so if you look at the picture, and by the way, your technology and the meeting's very good, and the fact that you have the stipulations online is very impressive. But that being said, if you look at that space, right,
Yes.
that's contiguous to, like, look at the cleaners. It's not going further out. So
Okay. Was that, excuse me, does the cleaners have plastic outside of it enclosing? No,
No.
that's what I'm talking about. The other thing was when this area was built, was this a grant to the developer in order to make the building taller? Because a lot of these places are public spaces. They're not just because they're there. It's not for the use of the tenants. It's supposed to be for everybody, outsiders and everybody else.
Well, this was just, if I may add, when we had the discussion with the building and the facility, this was included as part of the agreement for the lease, and it's in there in our actual paperwork in the lease agreement. So it's included in our conversation and in our agreement with the building. So I'd be surprised if there was anything different than what we were told by the building itself.
I hope they're correct because I wouldn't want to see someone come and tell you to take it down.
Yeah. The only thing they said to us is if they ever, like, again, if they needed to, God forbid, do some construction upstairs and work with us, but that is their space. And we were told that from the very beginning to allow them to have, access. But other than that, it's 100% our space.
You just said it. It's their space. But was it their space because they got it to make the building taller. And it was granted because they said they would put in a public area.
Again, I don't, the only thing I know, then they wouldn't be allowed to include it in our lease agreement. That just seems like something that wouldn't happen, especially
Right.
going through our attorneys.
Yeah, the tenant wouldn't pay for the public area if it was a public area, so to speak.
Also, I'll just second what Susan said. This has been like this, like the existing condition for years and years, so, I think these are good questions, Paige, but I think we can, move on knowing that this has been the condition for a long time now.
Yes, I wanted to go ahead, but I'd like to put a stipulation in the resolution. We vote on a resolution that if this is considered to be a privately owned public space, a POPS, then we wouldn't be in favor of it, but
There doesn't appear to be, I'm looking at them on the Find Pops map that is maintained in part by the Municipal Art Society. There doesn't appear to be a Pops on this, at this location.
okay.
Thank
Right.
you.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion with no objection.
Second,
Go to the resolution. So a resolution of no objection for a new on-premises license with a temporary permit for Ara Cafe Inc. Doing business as Ara Cafe at 333 East 23rd Street. Whereas Mitchell Siegel, attorney, and Yeto Nikaj.
Yes.
Appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on February 29th, 2024. CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a tavern, is that correct?
Correct? Yes.
Thank you. Whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 7 AM to 12 AM. With liquor being served after 10 AM, 7 days a week, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are we including a stipulation? No. Okay. Whereas, no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on February 29th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And of course, if there are any misrepresentations, then CB6 opposes the application. So I'll now take a vote by roll call. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain, or abstain for cause not entitled. Claire Brennan.
in favor.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
Abstain.
Thank you. John Keller.
Favor.
Thank you. Anton Mullner.
In favor?
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. David Lowenstein.
In favor.
Thank you. And Joel Jones and Sarah Whittington are not with us. So with 5 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention, and 0 abstaining for cause of not entitled, the motion passes.
Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you to all the members of the committee. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next on the agenda, new application and temporary retail permit on premises license for RMC GBNY Incorporated doing business, not determined yet, at 120 East 39th Street. Are the representatives for this establishment available?
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Should I begin?
I have a question. The community board questionnaire you sent in dates way back before my time, and I've been here 4 years. When did you get that?
A long time ago.
This is the one that was my client completed. I don't know where they got it from.
It's a very, very, very old version. So anyone that's been on the sports in the last 10 years, since the last 10 years, would not have ever seen it.
I will complete the newer one and send it to you tomorrow morning. But I'll make sure it goes right along with what's in this questionnaire.
All right, your hours of operation are gonna be from 11 a.m. in the morning to 11:30 p.m. And you're operating as a grill?
That's correct. Excuse me?
Yeah, as a grill. What kind of food will you be serving?
It's there was a menu attached. It's an Indian restaurant. It's called Bukhara Grill. There have been others throughout the city. The operator has got a great deal of experience, held other licenses without any difficulties whatsoever.
Okay, I don't have any further questions. Okay,
Is someone else from the establishment here for the record?
Yes, the owner, Raji Jani, is here. Raja? Raja? You have to.
We see him. There appear to be two people signed in as Terrence Flynn. Is there?
That's the attorney who was talking just now.
But there are two of them. So that it's just the two of you, right?
It's just Raja and myself. Raja,
Okay.
If you can hear this, you have to hit the button on your speaker to activate it. You have to take the mute off.
That's okay. We just wanted to
Okay.
confirm who was actually in the room. That's all.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
do I hear a resolution? No objection. I should say a motion. Motion?
No.
Second.
Okay, the resolution. So we have a resolution of no objection for a new on-premises license with a temporary permit for RMC BGNY doing business as Bukhara Grill at 120 East 39th Street. Whereas Terrence Flynn Jr., attorney, and Malini Janji, principal. I'm sorry, I think we have Raja Janji. My apologies.
Give me 1 second. I believe the address is 210 East 39th, not 120. Is
It's
that-
120 East.
Oh, it's 120. I apologize.
Yeah. It's 120 East 39th.
Raja Janji?
Should it be Raja Janji or Malini Janji?
Yeah, I'm Raja Jhanji.
Raja. And you are the principal.
Well, I'm the person who will be running the restaurant. And I had a restaurant for 21 years in Manhattan. And the liquor license was under my name. But unfortunately, we had to close it in pandemic.
Okay.
We are reopening again to bring the good food and flavors to New York City.
I guess what he's asking, are you one of the owners or are you just representing the owners?
I'm our representative. My son is here with me. He is one of the owners, Akshay Jhanji.
Okay, so representative.
Representative, okay. So then it should be, whereas Terrence Flynn Jr., attorney, and Raja Janji, representative, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on February 29th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as an Indian restaurant, that's correct?
That's correct.
It will be a very fine dining, upscale Indian restaurant.
Yes. And whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., 7 days a week, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't believe there are any committee stipulations or public comment. Whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on February 29, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representatives of the committee. And the last clause, of course, is our standard disclaimer. If there's any misrepresentations, then we oppose the application. So I'll now take a vote by roll call. When I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain for cause or not entitled. Claire Brennan.
In favor.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
In favor.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mulner.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. David Lowenstein.
In favor.
Thank you. And Gerald Jones and Sarah Whittington are not with us this evening. So with 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for cause not entitled, the motion.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck on your establishment.
Yeah,
Thank you
good-
very
good-
much. Have a nice evening.
Good luck. I used to love the
Thank you,
old
sir.
Bukhara Grill.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, renewal on-premise license for MDO Development Corporation doing business the Water Club at 500 East 30th Street. Do we have any representatives?
Yes. Kevin B. McGrath, Philip Snyder for the applicant. Also, I have one of the representatives of the corporation. The corporation is MDO Development Corp. And Richard Dean is, I believe he's on this. Richard? Okay, I guess he didn't. I just spoke to him a few seconds ago. I thought he was going to get on. In any event, Richard Dean is a representative of the corporation. There is just one minor change in the community planning board stipulation. The hours are 8 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the evening, but our restaurant is usually 8 to 12. There is going to be a manager. There's a public assembly permit issued from the fire department. There is no alteration application as far as this is concerned. There's an inside waiting area as you enter the premises. The premises are on 2 floors and 2 barges. As you can see from this photo that I'm looking at, if you look at where the car is parked, that's the southern part. There's 1 barge there, and where the young lady is walking is the northern barge. That's where the restaurant is. The one to the south is only used in extreme conditions, but it's used as where we have special events or catering. There is 4 separate rooms. There's an outdoor space up on the 2nd floor, which holds between 100 and 200 people. We have service there. It's usually from the afternoon until maybe 11 o'clock. We try to close it before 12 o'clock. You can't see it from this picture, so it's overlooking the water. So it's called the Crow's Nest. If the entire 4 spaces were being used, the capacity to this establishment is 748 people. The liquor license is presently in safekeeping with the State Liquor Authority because it's not open for business right now, because the city has notified the owner that they're going to take the property to the left, which is by the tree, for a staging area while they do work on the underpinning of the building, which is on piles. And also, as you can see, where there's a no parking sign on the street, they're also going to redo the surface of that area. Because of that, we couldn't have a restaurant because there's no public transportation or there's no cross street onto this property. The only way you can get here is going north on the service road. So we have surrendered the license in safekeeping, and when it's approved, when all the work is done, we will, subject to your approval of the license, we will then notify the State Liquor Authority, since we have already paid all the sums due for the license. So sometime in the future, when all the work is done, we will then ask the State Liquor Authority to release the license. And before we do, we have to submit an affidavit to you and to the State Liquor Authority indicating that the premises are ready to open and in accordance with the license.
Okay, I'm a little confused, and let me see if I can get myself on the right track. Now, I was up on your website last night, and all I could see was an event menu for the Water Club. I didn't see any mention of a restaurant. Is there a reason for that? Because your application.
Well, there was. I mean, there is a menu. Apparently, it wasn't up on the website, but after COVID, they only use this as they didn't have any a la carte. They only use it for some catering, which they were allowed to do because they had an OP license. But right now it's closed. It's not being used for anything. And it's the license is up with the State Liquor Authority. So they cannot serve any liquor.
So let me get this straight. The restaurant is closed. You have a liquor license for the restaurant that you want to renew. But are you operating as an event menu right now that serves alcohol?
No. It's absolutely closed. There is no license available to open as a catering. The license by law is, once you close, you must surrender for safekeeping the license to the State Liquor Authority. And then when you reopen, for instance, if there was going to be major alterations or something where you had to close, you surrender your license for safekeeping. And when that's all finished, you then ask them to do it. The reason that we're here before you is that during the time that we are closed, our license is going to expire. So we have to make an application and pay the fees, even though the license is in safekeeping.
So you're saying that this license covers both the restaurant and the event?
Yes, it covers all. It covers everything that you can see in this picture that you have up on your webpage now.
So how long will you be closed?
I wish I could tell you. It's really, I see a gentleman has his hands up. I'm sure you're gonna recognize him, but I can't tell you. If the city were to tell me when they're gonna be finished, I could then tell, and I'm required to tell you once the work is done, that we're gonna reopen. Because we have to file an affidavit with the State Liquor Authority and with the Community Planning Board saying that the premises are open for business.
Paige has her hand raised.
Paige, you have a question?
Yes. When does the lease expire with on the barge? I think it's 3 years, but I'm not positive.
I
And
don't,
will it be renewed?
first of all, I can't tell you the exact date of the lease. I don't have it in front of me, but it was a 15-year lease. We do intend to extend it. I will get back to the Community Planning Board tomorrow and give you the exact date of the lease.
Okay, I have another question. The last time that this board had the water club in front of it, we gave your company a negative resolution. We still don't understand how you have a liquor license.
I can't answer that question. If you gave a negative resolution, it went up to
I can ask
Albany
the
and
office to
the
send
State
you a
Liquor Authority.
copy of it.
I'm sorry?
I can ask the office to send you a copy of it.
Well, that's fine, but but the State Liquor Authority did grant a license, and there is a license in safekeeping for these premises.
Do any other committee members have a question?
There's someone else that has his hand up a long time.
Member of the public, address, please give us your name before you address us.
Hi, my name is Michael Cohen, and I have a question about the restaurant. I see that sometimes the restaurant is closed a lot, even before the COVID pandemic was closed, like most days. I walk by that part of the Greenway, and I'm seeing that the restaurant's closed a lot, and there's a sign that says, used to say a couple months ago, that it's open for private events only.
I can't hear what this person is saying.
I said, I've walked by it a couple of times on the Greenway, next to the FDR Drive. And I've seen a lot of times there's a sign a couple months ago that said it was open for private events only.
I'm
And I don't
sorry, I
know,
can't hear.
I will reiterate.
Thank you.
Mr. Cohen says that even before the pandemic, there was a tendency to notice that the water club was closed a lot.
except for private events.
Except for private events, and while strolling by the area, he happened to notice relatively recently a sign that indicated that the establishment was open for private events.
Well, it hasn't been opened. I mean, it might be an old sign, but it hasn't been open for some months, and it's closed now, and it doesn't have a license, so it can't operate.
So I wanted to ask, how long has it been closed? Like in total on the lease, how many days have it not been in operation?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
How long exactly has it been closed, is what he asks.
Like out of all the
It's
days,
been closed for a few months, at least.
Okay,
I don't have the exact date.
thank you. And you have another question? We have more questions?
Yeah, my hand is up. Anton, may I speak?
Sandy's.
Sandy
gonna
is
say-
up for you.
I'll let
Okay.
Sean.
Go ahead, Sandy. I didn't see you there. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say that the restaurant, it has not been open for a long time, and that's why there was a resolution, a negative resolution. You know, this is the waterfront. I think the people of the community assumed that it would be a restaurant that was available to everyone. We understand that that's one of the stipulations of the lease, that it be a restaurant. And it has not been. And sir, can you give us any clarification of that?
Yes, this application is for the renewal of an OP license, not a catering hall, for an OP license. So there are two barges, as I said.
We understand
So
that,
if
sir.
you look at the photo,
But please, will it be a restaurant open to the public?
yes, it
has
will
not
be
been
if
a considerable amount of time.
it reopens. To the left of the glass is where the restaurant is. To the right of the glass is where the catering or the party barges. As I explained to you, there are two barges.
We
But the one-
understand, sir. We understand the physical layout, but it has not been a restaurant.
It
So
will be
that's-
a restaurant if it's opened again.
So if it is not, what happens? If it's just a catering hall, what can we do about that?
No, if it's just a catering hall, we would have to come back to you because the application that's before you is for an OP license, which is when we open, it will be a restaurant. If for some reason, let's just assume, since we're discussing this, let's assume that they want to open it only as a catering hall. Then we have to come back to you with an application for a caterer's license. The license that we're asking for now is an OP license, which is a restaurant license. And when you have a restaurant license, you can have private parties, a limited number of private parties during the year.
So we would definitely like to see that because it has not been the case in the past.
Well, I'm telling you that if we're going to open this as a caterer's license, we have to come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
John?
Yeah, Sandy basically made the point that I wanted to make, but I'll put it slightly differently, that I think the concern has always been that we be sure that this is a restaurant, primarily a restaurant open to the public. And, you know, that's been the concern. That was the concern before. So if we pass this, I would like there to be a stipulation to the effect. In fact, what that you know, the normal business hours, you know, nobody's talking about that here. I mean, we just would like to know that this is going to be a restaurant that is going to be open on a regular basis and not just a means to have private events. I think that's the point that we're trying to make. And
well, I think that's a valid point.
Excuse me. And if we put, and I would just want that put in as a stipulation
Right.
in the approval. Thank you very much.
Right. We would agree to that stipulation. All right.
Are there any other questions from the committee members? General public? Do I hear a motion with the stipulation recommended by Mr. Keller?
Motion of no objection.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded on the resolution. So we have a resolution of no objection.
Excuse me, before you pass this resolution, I see that you say that whereas Kevin B. McGrath, attorney, Michael O'Keefe was not here, okay? It
We're
says
getting
Michael
to-
O'Keefe, okay, all right, fine, thank you.
We'll go line by line. So resolution of no objection for a renewal of an on-premises license for MDO Development Corporation doing business as the Water Club at 500 East 30th Street. Whereas Kevin B. McGrath, attorney, and Richard Dean, applicant, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on February 29th, 2024. CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas on their 30-day notice form and on the submitted questionnaire, the applicant describes their establishment as a restaurant. That's correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
The next whereas clause, I pointed out that although the application said 8 to midnight, I changed it to 8 to 1 with your permission.
The committee okay with 8 to 1?
Yeah.
7 days a week?
Yes.
8 a.m. to 1 a.m., 7 days a week. John requested that there be a stipulation that so whereas the committee stipulated that
The establishment should be a restaurant open to the public.
that thank you, Susan, that the establishment be a restaurant open to the public. John, did you want to specify any
Yeah,
sort of?
that the establishment, that the primary some way of saying that the primary purpose for the establishment is to be a restaurant open to the public, not, you know, so we're very clear that we're approving this as a restaurant.
Right.
Open to the public in an important location. And we are not approving it as something that would be other than that. But I could act within the law by having events as part of their business, but we want it to be primarily open as a restaurant to the public.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, is this, whereas the committee stipulated that the establishment primarily be open as a restaurant, open to the public? Or
Just to the public.
Right.
That language is okay with you, John?
No.
Or-
There's primarily be a restaurant open to
Right.
the.
Open to the public, right?
Primarily be a restaurant,
Yeah, that's right.
open to the public. Yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Susan.
You're welcome, John.
Whereas,
Some members of the community expressed concerns that the establishment has been closed for a significant amount of time.
uh,
Committee, would you say that's fair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
express concerns that the establishment has been closed for a long time. Of course.
Anton, do you want to make mention that your own research indicates that it seems to, at least their website seems to suggest they're operating as a catering establishment? Okay.
No, okay. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on February 29th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And of course,
Should say something that they would have to come back to us, they're looking for catering.
We can, that's generally understood in the law, but if you want to say something about that.
I think it, yeah.
Be a restaurant. I guess under the whereas about the restaurant, we can, oh, actually, no, right there, we can put, Anton wants there to be some sort of mention of clear, affirmative mention that, if they do seek to change their license to a catering license, that they should come back to the community board and apply for it properly.
So we're adding a whereas clause, whereas if the applicant seeks to change their license to a catering license,
Catering establishment,
catering
they
establishment,
want to change their license to its catering establishment. They have to apply for a caterer's license. Okay?
Well,
I
they
think
have to
that's
come to
about-
they have to come to the community board. As I
Yes,
think
they
what
have to
Anton-
come to the yes,
Thank
you can put it in
That's what
there.
Anton said. That's right.
If the applicant seeks to change the applicant must,
30-day notice, they'd have to get, reviewed like all the other ones do and.
wait a minute, change the license to a catering establishment. If the seeks to change. Since,
Come before the community board and reapply.
yeah, let's come to the community not to reapply, just to apply for a caterer's license.
Okay.
Because we're not applying for a caterer's license now.
Right.
The applicant must come before the community planning and apply for a caterer's license.
And that works.
All right?
Takes it.
So
It's good.
You don't have to use the last word establishment if you just said for a caterer's license, but I'm not the community planning board. All right.
So now take the vote by roll call. When I call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain for cause, or not entitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Mulner,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
thank you. David Lowenstein,
In favor.
you. Gerald Jones and Sarah Whittington are not with us. So with 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for cause or not entitled, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you gave me.
It's on the agenda. Discussion of New York City Council, INT 1243-2023, New York State Assembly Bill A8428A, which would help support taking enforcement action against illegal smoke shops. I'm sure we all remember that we've been discussing in this committee more than a few times the issue of not only how we should be processing cannabis applications, but also the fact that there are so many illegal shops in our area and of course in the whole New York City area. And the enforcement of the cannabis laws to eliminate or reduce the number of these illegal shops has been at best spotty. And one of the reasons, as we have understood, is that there is a situation where nobody is taking the responsibility for enforcing whatever laws are necessary to be enforced to put these businesses, illegal businesses, out of business. Now Keith Powers and who else is?
Well, so I can pull up the intro.
I think it had to cast a thousand.
Anyway,
There were 20 Assemblymember Raj Kumar.
Raj Kumar have introduced bills in their respective areas to enhance enforcement powers so that there would be better ways to close these shops. I'm sure we all know that if you opened a restaurant, you didn't have a liquor license, you'd be shut down immediately. this is not the case for these cannabis shops, which have been popping up and go on for months without even being approached or enforcement action being taken. This hopefully will be able to, these laws, these new laws proposed will hopefully be able to enhance the enforcement of the cannabis laws. Now, whether this will happen 100%, I don't know, but it's better than what is currently happening now. And I ask committee members that we should review these, and if we are satisfied with at least these first steps being taken by Powers and Raj Kumar, we should support them in their efforts. And maybe a small step, but a small step is better than no step. So I'd like to hear what the committee members say in regards to the situation.
I think we should have a resolution of support for the city council bill.
And what about for the state assembly bill?
That too.
Members of the committee, may I hear your comments? John?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think we should give Councilmember Powers and the assembly all the support we can. I don't know whether we need to mention it, but I'd like to really praise Governor Hochul for her endeavors to keep this in front of people.
Great. David?
Yeah, I agree also with Susan and John that support is a good thing here.
All right, do I hear a volunteer to write up a resolution? I'll tell you what, I'll do it myself. I will submit it to the committee. And if the committee agrees with it, then we'll send it on to the full board. Are we in agreement on that?
That sounds good.
Do we need a formal vote for the minutes or?
Well, it depends on what your timeline is. If by writing it up, you expect Anton to write it up, and then you guys consider the text at the next committee meeting and vote on it properly, then you don't need to, but if there's some particular hurry.
No, I don't think there's particular, state and city governments don't operate on a hurry-up basis.
Okay, so for the record, Anton will write it and distribute it ahead of time. Yeah, it will be properly considered at the next committee meeting in March.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
David
for giving me all this work.
David's
The next item on the agenda is cannabis retail dispensary license for Elis Maria Cruz Irby, doing business as Life Charms at 253rd Avenue. Now, were they invited to come?
No, this is the opportunity, as mentioned in previous meetings, sometimes the timing works out where the committee can have 2 bites at the apple.
Okay.
This is one of those times where you can just sort of consider it here, because it just came in, and there wasn't enough time to give them enough time to invite them and fill out the questionnaire. So if you want to hear from them, we can invite them for next meeting.
Okay, that's agreeable to me, and that they should fill out the questionnaire. I will say, I received from Kevin O'Keefe an email earlier today saying that this same corporate entity applied for a cannabis license at 40 West 37th Street, and CB5 turned them down because it was too close to a harm reduction center and Parks Public Plaza. I looked at the address that Life Charms will be operating at 253rd Avenue, and around the corner is the Brotherhood Synagogue, which operates not only a synagogue, but has a nursery school. So I would have some concern that Life Charms was not complying with the distance requirements required by the Cannabis Control Board. But we'll take that into consideration, discuss it with them at that time.
Seems like Paige requests the floor.
Yes, Paige.
I Also, I looked up that address, and what I saw was it's either Magic Puff or Puff Magic Working Cannabis Store. It's in operation right at the moment. So it's one of the ones that's illegal. And now this one wants to think that they're going to come in and take it over. At least we wouldn't have to close them down.
I'm sorry, Paige, let me understand correctly that the address at which they are applying for Life Charms is already being operated as an illegal cannabis shop?
250 Third Avenue, that's what I saw when I looked earlier on Google. On Yelp, I'm sorry, it was on Yelp.
It does appear that there, on Yelp, there is something called Magic Puff. Let me share my screen if you don't mind. Magic Puff, 250 Third Avenue, open now. The street view that was shown was from like 2 years ago, so maybe it's not captured the current conditions. But I don't know if anyone had a chance to go and check this site out, but if we invite them, if the committee decides to invite them, we can certainly ask them about this.
I'm sorry, what's the address?
250 Third Avenue.
Okay, that is significant, thank you. Paige?
And across the street from it, I think there is St. Augustus Park or something.
No, around the corner is Gramercy Park.
Oh, okay. I knew there was something that I saw, there was a park. And if you press on the little thing and you look at it, they'll show you the store.
So the committee wants to invite them for the next
Invite them
meeting?
and question them, absolutely.
Okay. We'll invite them, we'll ask them to fill out the questionnaire. And we'll ask them to put up a little sign indicating that they're gonna be at this next meeting. And to send us pictures if they have done, in fact, have done that. It might be good in the days before the meeting for the committee members to stroll by or see if they've actually done it.
Or whenever you want.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the chair's report. A couple things. Made a presentation last Monday at the Transportation Committee regarding the open restaurants program. The final DOT regulations were released on February 2nd. Applications will start to be taken on March 1st. And the good news is that the DOT did take into account community board comments, public comments, and has adjusted the regulations such that I believe nearly all the concerns have been addressed. There were only a couple things that were not addressed, and many members of the public said if we go ahead with regulations, there should be something to the effect that if somebody wants to open something on the street, whether on the sidewalk, that the restaurant was explicitly say that its restrooms are open to the public. That didn't get through. But other than that, oh, and the other piece of good news is that the permanent structures and semi-permanent structures that we do see on the streets right now will have to be taken down within the next 5 months, and only temporary structures will be allowed. Sidewalk dining is available, will be available 12 months a year. Street dining will only be available from May 1st through November 29th. So that the streets will be clear from December, January, February, March, and April of the following year. So that's the good and bad news. And a question was raised by one of the committee members in the other committee, whether the restaurateur will be required to have insurance in case something untoward happens at one of the street facilities. And I did relook up the regulation, and it is required to have insurance for those types of events, and it is part of the application process. That's about it. I don't have anything else. An old or new business, Ms. David would like to make a presentation about the outdoor dining seating, which is being proposed for various streets in the city, including 43rd Street, as I understand, David.
Yeah, so this started from Sandy, who I guess was speaking with Gabe and Jason about the Street Seats program. Street Seats, for those who don't know, is a DOT administered program whereby someone who has access to curb can open up seating for the public. So it's distinguished from open restaurants in the sense that open restaurants gives restaurants exclusive use of that space. So there was some discussion about whether restaurants might be interested in the Street Seats program, whether large commercial landlords would be interested, and to the extent that a bid might be interested in sponsoring those spaces to administer the spaces for those commercial landlords. I reached out to all of the bids in our district. I got responses from East Midtown, Grand Central, Flatiron, and Union Square. The long and short of it is that Grand Central is really the only bid that has experience doing this. East Midtown, Rob Burns, president there, said they don't have the capacity to do it, but that they'd be happy to sort of market the program more, reach out to large commercial landlords. He put it on the agenda in their last meeting, but it wasn't discussed, although he did send a follow-up email to that bid, waiting to hear back if there's any interest from large commercial landlords or restaurants in that district. Fred Cerula, Grand Central, operates the Vanderbilt Avenue Street Seats in coordination with Tishman Speyer, who has the MetLife building there on Park Avenue. Obviously, it's a big Street Seats, 3 sections. He actually has a 4th section that's kind of relevant to us. This is the section that was out before the pandemic, before Tishman Speyer agreed to sponsor. So he has a 4th section that's about 40 feet and nowhere to put it. So it's been in storage for the past 4 years. And Fred is actively looking for people who might be interested in taking that section. To the extent that we could be helpful in that search, I told him we would discuss it. And if any sites came to mind for us, that we would get back to him. I have not heard back on his success in finding anyone suitable for that section. Flatiron and Union Square, just like East Midtown, were both of the view that they didn't have the resources to sponsor anyone at this time. So that's where we're at, just waiting to hear back from Fred and Rob on any possible new sites for the Street Seats program. But happy to answer any questions as well.
Sandy?
Don't touch the mic. So what is the responsibility of the owner or the business to do this? What would they contribute?
So the way it works with the bids is the commercial landlords pay additional dues to the bid. Fred says it's $50,000 to store these things over winter, which you have to do by the program's rules. And each one costs about $100,000 per 40-foot section. So it's a substantial amount of money, obviously, but that's paid as dues toward the bid. And the bid administers and cleans and takes care of the sections while they're outside, and then takes care of the storage.
And how big is his bid? Is the 52nd Street bid? What does it include in our neighborhood? What would they be willing? How far would they be willing to go?
I just want the latest.
Are you asking for each bid's boundaries? I can't quite hear you.
for 42nd Street bid. How much of that is inside our district? Like,
Grand,
in-
the Grand Central bid you're asking, what's its boundaries?
Grand Central, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be Lexington, I believe, going east to Second Avenue between, I want to say 41st or 40th Street, and then up to, I think, in the mid 40s somewhere. I'm not quite sure on the boundaries. I can get back to you though.
Because there aren't substantial, I'm not sure there's substantial sized businesses in that, depending on how far up we wanted to go.
Yeah, it's really for, I think the specific purpose here is for large commercial landlords like a Tishman Speyer or an SL Green who have, control of a large section of the curb, maybe a full block even, who have the resources to pay $150,000
I'm
to
sharing
get
my
going.
screen now. It seems like this, so this is Lex right here. So pretty much from here to and east is the chunk of Grand Central Partnership that overlaps with Manhattan Community District 6. So we've got as low as 39th Street, as far south as 39th Street, and as far north as 47th Street, it looks. And
So we could do a little reconnaissance and see if there's any potential place. Pfizer on 42nd, but I don't think that's one of these. And it takes over parking spaces, or it takes, how big an area do you have to have?
I heard parking spaces. I didn't hear the second part. Sorry.
How much space do you need to install one of these?
It takes one lane of the off the curb. So obviously it has to be permissible. It can't be a bus lane or any other use like that. That is like no standing type signage. So
It's not going to be available. I'm sure. Well, at least we can take a look. Hopefully, there are in other areas of the city, and they're really great. It's just a place to.
Fred, who has all the experience with it, had only good things to say about it. The Vanderbilt Street seats, according to him, was a huge success last summer, and they're looking forward to it this year. And he thinks that, a lot of the stigma surrounding it, a lot of the concerns that businesses may have is actually not necessarily the case. So he's certainly an advocate for it. And, I told him we're obviously supportive of having more open spaces in our district, and to the extent that we could be helpful locating these locations and supporting them as they work through the regulatory process. He appreciated that. So I think it's something to maybe work toward, trying to find at least one other person who might be willing to sponsor in the next year or two.
So, we could announce it full board, but it would be great if the committee.
I think,
It might be.
this is still in the nascent stage, and it's gonna require more discussions as it goes forward. I think when it gets to, it gels up a little bit more, we could take a look at it and perhaps as a full board look at this to make our recommendation to support the initiative.
I was just going to say that I'm waiting to hear back from Fred and Rob, and I was going to follow up probably next week to see if they have any updates, and then pending whatever they said, we can discuss this further.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that.
Excellent.
Any comments from committee member? Thank you. Before we close, I received this afternoon, I looked up this afternoon, some resolutions passed by CB5 and CB1 regarding cannabis approvals. And they have put up resolutions on distance, which are tighter than what we see from the Cannabis Control Board. I will try to review this, perhaps speak to somebody from one of those community boards and find out whether this can be applicable to us and whether they have any kind of, process that would make things smoother or ask more relevant questions of any cannabis applicants. And I'll get back to the committee on this next month. Does any other member of the committee have anything for old or new business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. There are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting.
At 8:05.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Right.